If you've ever looked in your pantry and thought, I have ingredients, but not a dinner, you're not alone. Most families don't struggle because they don't buy enough food. I struggle because I'm tired of making the same things, and I don't always know if a new recipe will work for everyone. In this video, I'm sharing simple ways we stretch groceries at home so food lasts longer without another trip to the store. Stretching groceries isn't about eating less, it's about using what you already bought with intention. Let's start with the first meal we stretch most, and that's protein, because that's where grocery bills usually hurt the most. We blend proteins instead of buying more. Ground chicken is expensive, it's just over $5 a pound. Instead of buying 2 pounds, I buy 1 pound of ground chicken and add 1 tube of beef chorizo. They're about $1.50 each. For under $7 total, I get about 2 pounds of seasoned meat, with better flavor and more satisfaction. If I bought 2 pounds of ground beef instead, I'd be closer to $14. The chorizo carries the seasoning, the fat adds fullness, and I don't need to add much else. I add peppers and onions, and this becomes a base for tacos or chili. Stretching meals isn't about doing everything from scratch. It's about choosing what actually works. Once protein is stretched, the next easiest win for us is eggs. Use eggs to turn leftovers into full meals. Eggs stretch food effortlessly. Leftover rice, whatever vegetables we have, and a few eggs turn into fried rice. We also use eggs with chorizo frequently. Beef, soy, whatever you like. Add peppers, onions, mushrooms, toast on the side, and that works for breakfast or dinner. Another way I use eggs is in quiche. 4 eggs, cream or half and half, whatever protein we have, and a lot of spinach. My son still won't eat spinach on its own, but he'll eat it in a salad or baked into quiche. Add a simple salad, and that's dinner. After protein and eggs, the next stretch comes from how the meal is built. Build the meal on the starch, then layer. I stretch groceries by building meals differently. Instead of building meals around meat, I build them around the starch. Fries, baked potatoes, or a hearty vegetable becomes the base. Then I layer just enough protein and toppings to make it satisfying. We do what I call monster fries. Thick-cut fries go on a sheet pan. Then I add whatever protein we have: chicken, beef, turkey, bacon, a couple types of cheese, green onions, and sauces. It feels like restaurant food, but a small amount of meat stretches across the entire pan. Baked potatoes work the same way. Broccoli, cheese, peppers, a small amount of bacon, sour cream and butter. The potato carries the meal, and the protein becomes the accent, not the centerpiece. Stuffed peppers are another option. The pepper becomes the base, with a small amount of meat, rice, and cheese as the filling. Sometimes we use leftover stuffing or dressing inside the peppers. My boys don't love them, but my husband and I do. If you've never tried that, it's surprisingly good. When the base is filling and tastes good on its own, you don't need much meat at all. That's what makes it flexible, and once something is flexible, it doesn't have to be used just once. Stretching works best when one base can be used more than once. A cooked chicken becomes chicken salad, tacos, burritos, or enchiladas. Same protein, different form. When the base is flexible, nothing depends on just one recipe. Sauce is one of the easiest ways to stretch what you already have. When I get produce boxes, I roast tomatoes, turn them into sauce, and freeze it. When I don't have homemade sauce, I blend 2 jars of good sauce, 2 jars of generic, plus onions, peppers, and mushrooms. Once it simmers together, no one can tell which sauce was expensive and which was generic. Once flavor is handled, the easiest next step is bringing everything into one dish. When food goes into one dish, it naturally stretches further. Leftover rice, broccoli, rotisserie chicken, a can of whatever cream soup you have, and some cheese becomes a full meal. Once everything is combined, portions stretch on their own. Another place grocery budgets leak quietly is drinks. It doesn't feel expensive, but it adds up faster than most people realize. That's why I stretch drinks the same way I stretch food. My son loves Arizona green tea in the cans. It used to be about $4 for a 12-pack. Now it's closer to $6, and over time that cost adds up. When I did the math, it was costing us close to $600 a year in canned tea. So I started making tea at home. What I noticed is that tea isn't as strong as it used to be. Years ago, 6 tea bags could flavor a whole gallon. Now it takes almost a whole box to get the same taste. That stopped making sense. We were big water drinkers, but all of us like hibiscus tea. So, I bought a big bag of 140 hibiscus tea bags on Amazon for under $15. I use 10 tea bags, 2 to 3 packets of Crystal Light green tea if I want more flavor, totally optional. A little sugar, sometimes ginger. That makes over a gallon of tea. We didn't change how much tea we drink. We just changed the form it comes in. Now our tea costs are closer to $200 a year. That difference doesn't feel dramatic day to day, but over time, that money can strengthen an emergency fund or go straight toward paying down debt. Stretching groceries isn't about doing more. It's about letting food work together. When food lasts longer, you spend less at the grocery store. That's when it begins to feel more manageable. Use what you have. Stretch it with intention. Which one of these are you going to try this week? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.